Hey everybody, Mr. Quick here. We're going to jump into Eureka Math / Engage New York Math, Module 1, Lesson 11, Comparing Ratios using Ratio Tables. Now, when we use ratios, oftentimes we're comparing more than one ratio. We've talked about that a little bit before, but let's look at another example really quick. If we both leave the same area and we're going to drive across town, if I'm going 30 miles per hour per 1 hour, right? And you're going 45 miles per hour, you're going to get there first, right? We can compare real life situations and get results, right? So you may think, oftentimes you might see 30 miles per hour, or you might see a speed limit sign, but when we talk about 30 miles per hour, that's actually a ratio. We're going 30 miles for every 1 hour that we drive, or in this case, 45 miles for every 1 hour that we drive. So we can use ratios to compare, or we can compare different ratios, I should say. So we're going to we're going to only do one example today, but you'll be doing some more in class, and we'll talk about it. But I'm going to show you two different ways. Not that those are the only two ways, but I'm going to show you two ways that you can compare ratios. All right. What you see here is we have three ratio tables, and what it's comparing, you have Michaela, you have Jenna, and we have Maria. And it shows how many words they can type per minute. Well, it actually doesn't show that. It shows, let's start over here with Michaela. Michaela, in 3 minutes of typing, can type 150 words. Then it shows you how many words she can type in 5 minutes, in 7 minutes, and in 9 minutes. Down here we have Jenna, and it shows that in 2 minutes, she can type 90 words. In 4 minutes, she can type 180 words. In 6 minutes, 270. 8 minutes, 360 words. So we can see just how fast they can type in these different time frames. Down at the bottom, Maria, in 3 minutes, can type 120 words. 6 minutes, 240. 9 minutes, 360 words. And in 12 minutes, 480 words. Now, if we wanted to compare, I'm going to say Michaela, M-I, Jenna, J, obviously, and Maria will say M-A. If we wanted to compare and find out who can type the most words, or who can type the fastest, and we wanted to put that in order, there's a couple of different ways we could look at that. The first way, and this is the way I just personally would go to when I'm trying to figure this out, is I want to know what the ratio is and the value of that ratio for how fast they can each type in 1 minute. Because if you can see how fast they can type in 1 minute, you can compare the three typists, we'll say, and see how fast they can type or text in 1 minute, and see who's the fastest, who's in the middle, who types the slowest. So let's check that out. Okay, if we look at Michaela, let's start there. We see that she has a minutes to words ratio, we're just going to look at the first column, of 3 to 150. So 3 minutes, 150 words. If I wanted to write that as a value, or let me write that fraction, write that decimal as a fraction, I could write 3 to 150. Now, if I wanted to find that value of what is the value of that ratio, and then also find out how many words you can type in 1 minute, then I need to find an equivalent fraction, and instead of 3 as my numerator, I want it to be 1, because I want to find out the 1 to blank ratio, right? Well, in doing this, I need to find a magic number. Well, how do I get from 3 to 1? I'm going to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. If I do that to the numerator, I've got to do the same thing to the denominator. 150 divided by 3 is going to give us 50, right? 15 divided by 3 is 5. Bring over the 0. I get 1 to 50. So Michaela, for every 1 minute, she can type 50 words. Okay, let's jump down to Jenna. Jenna, let's look at her initial, the first value they gave us anyway. In 2 minutes, she can type 90 words. So that's a 2 to 90 ratio. For every 2 minutes, she types 90 words. Again, I'm going to write that as a fraction, 2/90ths, and I want to find out what the value of that is. So again, I want that to be 1. So I know 2 divided by 2 gives us 1. You do it to the numerator, you've got to do it to the denominator. 90 divided by 2 gives us 45. So for every 1 minute that she types, Jenna types 45 words. And then let's jump down to Maria. Again, ratio, for every 3 minutes, she types 120 words. We could also say, we could write that as a fraction, 3 over 120. And we, again, we want to find out what the value is. So we want it to be 1 over something. So if we have 3 120ths equals 1 over blank, we've got to use that division, use that magic number as I like to call it. 3 divided by 3, I know is going to give us 1. Well, operation on top, on the numerator, do the same operation on bottom for the denominator. 120 divided by 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4. Bring over the 0. She types in 1 minute, she types 40 words. So, erase that here. We can see, by checking this out, that who is the fastest? Well, that would be Michaela. She's the fastest. In 1 minute, she's going to type 50 words. Jenna would be in second place. She's the second fastest because in 1 minute she types 45 words, so just a little bit slower than Michaela. And then the slowest typer of these three would be Maria because in 1 minute she types 40 words. So if we had to put them in order from fastest to slowest, we would say Michaela, Jenna, Maria. If they asked us to put them in order from slowest to fastest, we would go the other way, right? Maria, Jenna, Michaela. You always have to read those word problems very carefully. That's how I recommend doing it, but it's not the only way to do it. So we could also look at, we want to see who is the fastest. We'll say then second place and third place. Well, to do that, we can look at the charts, look at the ratio tables, and see if we can find some comparable information here, right? So, for instance, I see that Michaela and Maria have a number in common. We can compare how fast they type per 3 minutes. Well, in 3 minutes, Michaela types faster than Maria. So over off to the side, I'm just going to abbreviate there, but Michaela, I know, is faster than Maria because I know in 3 minutes she's going to type 30 more words than Maria would type in the same 3 minutes. So now I know that Michaela is faster than Maria. Now what I don't know, assuming we hadn't just done this problem, right? What I don't know is where does Jenna fit in? So now I have to find another comparable piece of data. And if I look, I can see it right here. Jenna and Maria, we know how many words they typed for 6 minutes each. So there is another comparable piece of data. And I can see that in 6 minutes, Jenna typed, it's kind of hard to see that, but it's 270 words. And in 6 minutes, Maria only typed 240. So if I put her above Maria, because I know she's faster than Maria, the only thing I need to know now is who is faster between Michaela and Jenna. Because I know Maria is going to be in last place. Because I could find comparable data to compare those two, and I know that she is slower than both Jenna and Michaela. Now, to compare these two, again, my recommendation would be find the value of the ratios, which is what we did originally, right? Another thing you could do is, I don't see any comparable data here, but I do see that in 5 minutes, Michaela typed 250 words. In 6 minutes, Jenna typed 270 words. So I'm going to think, well, Michaela is probably ahead there, but I don't know how many words she typed for 6 minutes. Except I can figure that out because I know how many she typed in 5 and 7, 250 and 350. Well, there's 100 words in between those two. 6 is in between 5 and 7. It's exactly in the middle. So what would be exactly in the middle of 250 and 350? Well, it'd be 300. So in 6 minutes, Michaela would type 300 words. Jenna would only type 270. So I know that Michaela would come in first, Jenny would come in second, and Maria would come in third. Those are just some different ways to look at that data. Again, what I recommend doing is finding that, the ratio, putting that into fraction form, and then finding out what is the value. So then you know, oh, okay, well, Michaela types 50 words per minute, and you can compare there. Okay, we're going to look at some more of this and some more of these type of problems in class. Thank you very much for watching.